can't deny. Big men, big moves, earth shaking growth. Why sumo? Tell me why you're doing sumo. Is it power?
Hello, 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 and welcome to Why Sumo. Our special guest today is going to be Ben Lacy from Dayton, Ohio. Please tell me I'm correct about that.
Yeah, Dayton, Ohio. Yep, that's where
Okay.
the club is located at. Yep.
Because you guys are like all of Ohio and a little bit of bleed out too, right? How
Yeah.
far is your grips into the Midwest?
Well, right now we have a club in Dayton, Ohio, and also in Indiana as well. So
There we go.
Hunter is opened up an affiliate school over in Indiana. He's in the Bloomington area, and he's the school's a little south of that. Right now, I'm blanking on the name of the city, but what's that, dear? Martinville. Thank you. She's here. She's my wife listening. I better
Bro,
have. She
without
has
our
a better
wives,
memory.
that's how it works. That's how it works. I mean, trust and believe. I've put my foot in my mouth multiple times, and usually it's my wife that helps me get my foot out of my mouth. You would think I'd be a like a yoga instructor at this point, as far as my foot has went into my mouth. uh,
Yep.
so, the $1 million question: why are you doing sumo? What got you into sumo?
What got me into sumo was anime. So I was watching this anime, this shonen, Hinomaru Sumo, and it's an anime about just a sumo wrestler and in high school. And I like shonen anime, so I was watching it and got really into it. This is just before the COVID lockdown, and then COVID lockdown happened. I was doing BJJ actually at the time, but COVID lockdown happened. There was a lot of restrictions, and we couldn't train indoors. We had to have masks on, and I was like, I don't want to do that. And so I started watching real sumo, and learning names for stuff. And then I saw that there was the closest group that was training at the time was Darius, and it was Jake Book. They were training down in Kentucky, so I traveled down there to train with them. And here I'm going in, I got some swagger. I'm like, I've been doing jacket wrestling for a long time. I did 7 years of Japanese jiu-jitsu. I've done judo. I'm coming in thinking I'm going to beat everybody. I had 12 matches. I lost 11 of them. So I got hooked day one. Just getting stomped on. Nick Biggs was beating me up. Dylan Biggs was beating me up. They were all just beating me up. So.
Who is the one match that you won?
I didn't see him. I don't even know his name, honestly. There was one guy, I saw him for one practice, and unfortunately he stopped going after that. What I would learn later would be kakenage, but, from my brain, I was thinking judo terms, so ushimata. I had done that throw on him. I was able to rip that off, but other than that, that was the only match I won. That was it.
I think that leads into a pretty good question. What's your favorite Kimarite?
Watanage. I love that throw. I feel that's
nice.
Easier to pull off on people sometimes.
Right.
I do other stuff. Other stuff that it's like hit or miss. Like kakenage for me is hit or miss. There is a leg sweep. I'll pull them. Was it Sosaisu Karmayashi is a term in judo. I forget the term for sumo, but basically you pull them and you try to kick the leg. But because we're so close to each other, I end up clacking shins a lot of the times. I've given myself like a hematoma a couple times on my left leg. Yeah, that was nasty. Last one got infected. That was awesome. But yeah, so Watanage, best my favorite technique. Yeah.
Okay, all right. I've done a lot of Uatanages. I've been thrown with Uatanage probably more times than I wish. That's the one that Joe has gotten me on multiple times. Usually when he wins a national title, it was from a Uatanage. So it's a bittersweet throw. Yeah, that's his Takoi Waza for sure. So you come in with judo experience. Do you think that the judo helped out your sumo?
Yes and no. Yes, with just the feeling of how people move, right? Like, so that whole push-pull aspect, when to throw somebody. So that was already baked in the cake, but I got my butt kicked for a year and a half straight in sumo because I just would not let go of my jacket wrestling way of thinking about things.
Mm,
And I'm like, no, I need to do sumo. So I was trying to pull off judo style throws, but it's like, it's easier when you're wrestling with the jacket because you've got an arm's length of space, with which to move versus like we're holding each other's hips, we're chest to chest. You don't have as much room to work with. So
I find it fascinating that you had a hard time getting rid of, or like pushing the sumo to the side, or pushing the judo to the side for your sumo, especially because you have one of my favorite tachiais, right? You come out fast, furious, and it's the exact opposite that any judoka would ever do.
yeah, it
How
took me a
did
while.
how did that develop?
Uh, the the Biggs brothers, they slap
Hmm,
you hard in the face, and
that
I
makes
got
sense.
tired of getting hit. I got tired of getting hit in the face and the throat, so I was like, I need to close the distance as fast as possible. So I just taught myself to leapfrog into people. I just charge as quickly as I can to close the gap. My goal is to take 2 steps before my opponent has taken one. And then I have a neck issue, so I got some arthritis in my neck, being an older wrestler, and so I just
Right.
do a shoulder style tachi. I don't mess around with the head style at all.
It's funny, the body, it can only take so much. It can only take so
Yeah.
much. When you bringing up the Biggs brothers, to this
Uh-huh.
day, I still think that Dylan Biggs has the best and fastest tachi in lightweight. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I would put money on that. In his best tachi against Edible's best tachi, his tachi wins. His best tachi
Yeah.
against Joseph's best tachi, regardless of Super Joe, Smaller Joe, doesn't matter. Hit his win. And then my imaginary tachi, I mean, my tachi is it's a ghost and it's never lived. It's an idea. It's a concept. The judo runs a
Yeah.
little too strong in me, and tachi is oh so hard to do.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like charging
Um,
into some. Ugh.
right, right. So, as an older grappler, how are you supporting your team?
With a lot of coaching now, I realize like the knees are starting to hurt more. Even as opposed to 2 years ago. I'm 45 now, and I'm thinking maybe I got another 5 years doing this. But a lot of it is coaching and trying to grow the talent in our club. Guys who are really good at certain things, I'm leaning on them to try to have them teach the other, like so we all teach everybody because I'm not an expert in everything. So if I see that somebody like we have Sean, our tall guy. He's really good at safari, so I'll have him show how to do tempo practice. When we have up against poles and in the dojo, and things like that. Just and really trying to grow all of our wrestlers because as they start to get better, everyone will lift everyone else up. It's like if TJ gets better, then people facing him like they're going against TJ at his prime, and then they face somebody in a tournament, and they're like, oh, well, this person was easy. Like, yeah, it's not as good as TJ. So we're all going to get better facing each other, and that's really what I'm focusing on. I'd love to have a practice where I come in and I can't beat a single one of my students. That would be the highest compliment. They're all better than me. They're all doing awesome. They're just monsters in the dojo, and that'd be great. So.
Yeah. Have you seen a sumo match live yet? Like a pro
Yes,
sumo?
yeah, the wife and I went to Japan 2024, sweetheart. 2023. Thank you. She knows I don't. We went to Tokyo in 2023, and we were fortunate enough to get tickets for the Basho, and so we went on Wednesday. And I actually got to see I think Enho's last. Yeah, before he had neck injury and had to go down from Juryu division in his last match. So we got to see that live
Mm.
and a bunch of other matches as well. So yeah.
Who is your favorite pro sumo wrestler?
I still like I'm gonna go by his old name because I can't remember his new one. Kiribati. And I like the Mongolian guys just because
Oh
just
yeah,
they
Kirishima.
yeah, Kirishima, thank you. And they just
No problem.
it's just their breadth of technique that they use and just the ring sense they have. That's what I would aspire to be. I'm trying, but
Mhm. I know. Isn't it weird where we are, I'm uh, like a hop skip away from 40, and I'm like, oh man, I need to get my sumo to this guy that's 23 years old. Right? Like, it feels weird. I never thought I would be this particular guy, right? Like, I was doing judo competitive at 66 kg, right? That was my jam. I understood the talent in the world. I knew who I was aiming for. We were within shooting distance age, and then time goes and you just kind of lose that. But then and I don't care about football, don't really care about basketball, so I'm never trying to get my Steph Curry this or my LeBron James this. But man, if I can just get a Uwatanage like Hoshoyuru, I'd feel pretty happy. And he's
yep.
24 years old. 24. Like,
They're
I
long.
I can literally be that guy's dad. Like, I
They're long
feel so
retired by the
weird.
time they reach our age. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Here he is, Yokozuna. I'm like, oh yeah, like the top, and then you have to like, I frame in your head. You're like, okay, he's 24. He's Yokozuna. Okay, how does this make sense? How long is he gonna like? Is he going to make it to his 40s and still be in sumo? Probably not. Like just the
Yeah.
nature of how this works, right? I sometimes my brain, as I get deeper into pro sumo, my brain just kind of breaks a little bit, and I just have to accept it. Just have to accept it.
Mm.
Um, so in amateur sumo, which I find amateur sumo to be quite wonderful and pleasant and its own thing, right? It has different rule sets than pro. There's different things where it's not as religious based, so it's a little bit more opening. There's barriers of entry are kind of gone. Like people don't have to go traditional. There's all kinds of different things. What do you think one rule or one area that makes it really welcoming for newcomers into sumo? What what's the thing?
Um, for a lot of people, not going traditional, that's a big thing that that allows because usually a lot of the guys come in and they wear shorts, and some of our guys have transitioned over into traditional, afterwards, being more open up to it. So I think that's a big draw for people to go into amateur. Amateurs is also like it's very welcoming. Every person I've met in amateur sumo in the United States is just really cool people. I mean, we all want to see everybody get better. I mean, I root for you and want to see you get better, and then also at the same time I want to beat you too, but also I want to see you do good. It's like we all it's everyone's got each other's backs in amateur sumo in the U.S. and it's just really nice and welcoming. It's also you know, because there's a just wide age range with everybody. It's also very diverse. You get people with different backgrounds. We've got guys we have a recent guy that just joined. He curling is his main sport.
Oh,
The ice curling. Yeah, and I was like, oh,
yeah,
okay. And he wanted to do sumo, and like most guys come in with a football or wrestling background, but he came in with curling, and he's doing awesome. So it's
really.
just yeah, we get people from just different walks of life, some older, some younger, and everyone's got experience they can share.
That that's fascinating. First of all, I didn't know that we had curling like as a sport in the United States. I know we do because we have a team. I understand we
Mm-hmm.
do because we have a team. But in my head, I'm like, I thought it was just a couple Americans hanging out in Canada that just so
Yep.
happened to be like, hey, I just happen to be the number two in Canada, so I should, I don't know. I don't know
Mm-hmm.
why that. It's probably the same way when people think, oh, there's sumo wrestling in the United States. Okay,
Yeah.
right, right. It's
Mm-hmm.
one of those things I could be ignorant about, which is I love when I realize I don't know something. It helps me learn. A brand new world is out there. It just opens up. I I have one question that is a little weird, especially because you're an amateur sumo. Is there any amateur sumo wrestler that you would call maybe one of your favorite wrestlers, or maybe you aspire to have their technique or something like that?
Yeah, definitely like anybody from, well, just I would say a group of them, but anybody from the and Raijin Sumo, NC Sumo guys. So that would be like
Mm,
Seth and Edibo. They just have a fluidity with their movement that I'm very stiff, unfortunately, when I wrestle. When I did Swai which is Chinese jacket wrestling, my Sifu, like he worked with me for 5 months to try to get me to loosen the heck up. I'm just too tight. And
did
they're just,
Were
they
you
move
able to
so
loosen
fluid.
up
A little bit.
a little bit?
you know,
Okay.
a little bit, a little bit. He had to work with me for a while with it, but it's just one of those things where, because there's pushing involved in our sport. When you're getting pushed back and you're near the edge of you're almost at this wire. You're like, you tighten up a little bit, and I still have to get rid of that. But no, you watch like Sensei Seth, and the way he wrestles in practice is like kind of like this way you see him like spar and like karate. It's very fluid, very very moving around, and I would love to emulate that. At least 25% of that would be awesome. I'm not going to
Yeah.
get there 100%, but it's like just a little bit. If I could just get a little bit of that greatness, that'd be awesome. So
Heck yeah. He's a treasure to this community. I
mm,
we did an interview with him not too long ago as he was getting ready for Worlds, and it was he's like, the numbers aren't there for me to continuously post about sumo, but I love sumo, so I'm going to do it. And I was like, man, that's awesome, especially as like a, yeah, like an influencer guy, right? He's one of those martial art influencers, and
mm,
I get it. Numbers make dollars, and
mm,
he's willing to sacrifice some of those dollars for something he really has fun for, which I like a
definitely.
lot. It makes
Yep.
me quite happy, because we know that it could have went a completely different way. A guy comes in and he's like, I just want to push these fat guys around, blah blah blah, right? Like that. I've seen the steroid freaks come into sumo, and then they get beat up by a person that they think is inferior to them because they have less definition in their muscle, and then they're out, they're in and out. um
Mm-hmm.
I As far as for training, what do you think is the most important thing you guys do for training? Because every club has their own concepts, their own perception of sumo. What's the Dayton, Ohio way?
We have been very fortunate that some of our members have gone over and trained at a professional sumo and they've brought that knowledge back. And basically, it's just one of the things where it sounds simple, but it's just the basics, basics. We just hit that as hard as we can. Warm ups are 100 Chico before we even get started. Then we go into Suriyashi, the movement exercises. Then we'll hit Suriyashi hard. We usually do some sort of a technique drill. We do Teppo, and then at the very end we hit Butsukari very hard. So it's like you're going to do
Nice.
Butsukari until you're done. You're pushing practice until like you can't push anymore. So
Do you guys do Ichiosh,
that
the
I'm
first
not
push?
familiar with that first push.
So it's like Butskari, except for it's at the beginning of practice where it develops your tachi more, where Butskari develops your soul, right? It's kind of
Mm,
like two sides of the same coin. And if you look at it,
okay.
you're like, oh, it's the same thing. But one really kind of gets you ready, and it's after Suriyashi, after all of the basic movements, then it's Ichioshi. And generally, you want to do like 5 pushes, and then the next person comes in 5 pushes, right? And
Okay.
for me, our club, we separated like two different people. I do one line, one person goes 5, they're doing 5 on the other side, and then we keep mixing it up until everybody gets a lot of pushes in, until they're like kind of good, warm, tired, and primed for sumo.
Hmm.
Um, when I started adding that in, I started to develop a tachi, which I had zero tachi before. Now I have an okay tachi. Sometimes it's okay, sometimes it's not. It's a 50-50 thing. But other people that are more like welcome to doing tachi, that's where they develop it, is right there. So Ichiosh, and then you can do Butsugali at the end. But once again, that develops the soul. The other one develops your sumo,
That sounds
which I
like something we should. Yeah.
yeah, I think that most clubs should do it. You already have everything going like right. I picked that up when I was in Japan last and we were practicing, and it was one of those things. If I didn't have Mink in there to give me the cultural like importance, I would have just been like, "Oh, we're doing Bootscotty," like before we do everything else. That's weird, right? But he had a way of breaking it down and letting me know how important it was, which I think that if we can get all Americans doing that, we're going to see some all American level talent, which I
Yeah.
think we're almost there.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to do a one shot for you, and during this one shot I want you to promote your club, promote anything you want, any side project you got, and then real nice and simple, give a quote, a statement, one word, whatever you like, just for the camera, right? It could be anything that's in your heart, in your soul, anything that you think the people deserve to hear. All right, here you go.
All right. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Ohayo Sumo Dayton. We have practices on the first and third Saturdays of the month from 3 to 5 p.m. We welcome everybody, all shape sizes, all ages. Definitely come try sumo. We're going to have a big practice coming up January 24th with all of the northern region clubs. So definitely join us for that. And some quotes. Things that really hit hard for me. Give flowers to those who can smell them. So tell everyone you love them, hold them dear. You don't know how long they're going to be around.
Why sumo? Tell me why you're doing sumo. Is it power, pride, or show? Why sumo? Every push, every throw, then you're stealing the show.